President Biden's support for Israel not sitting well with many Arab Americans, even after announcing a new national strategy yesterday to counter Islamophobia. The first national poll of Arab Americans since the war in Gaza began shows only 17% of Arab American voters say they will vote for Joe Biden in 2024. A staggering drop from 59% in 2020. I got to say, I find the numbers hard to believe. This is from the Arab American Institute. I asked what the source of the poll was, but they're not just unhappy with Biden. The same poll finding, for the first time in 26 years, the majority of Arab Americans do not identify as Democrats. Just 23%, a 6-point drop from just this past April. There are roughly 3 million Arab Americans. More than half of them voted for Biden in 2020. Is this a serious omen for 2024? Back with us is Steve Israel, former Democratic Congressman from New York, Scottie Nell Hughes, former McEnroe, former professional tennis player and media commentator. Steve, what do you make of these numbers?
Yeah, look, first of all, I don't trust those numbers, but in fairness, I don't trust any poll these days. And I certainly do not trust a poll a year away from the election.
All right, but let's take this as a snapshot in time.
Yeah,
all right,
this is a snapshot in time.
And in this snapshot in time, it sounds like a lot of Arab Americans are ready to abandon Joe Biden. The thing that seems amazing to me is that 40%, so the numbers are this is number one. Biden at 17%, Trump at 40%, RFK Jr. at 13%, 25% not sure. I mean, 40% for Trump, as if Trump is going to be better for them?
Well,
I mean,
that's an important point. In a year, Israel is not going to be on the ballot. Donald Trump will be on the ballot. And whether you are a progressive Muslim voter in Michigan or a progressive Jewish voter in Brooklyn, the prospect of Donald Trump having a second term is going to be the overriding motivator.
I'm thinking
voters.
Some may sit it out. I really think that they need turnout.
This is not about international policy. What you said was Arab Americans. The key are these are Americans right now, and Muslims are very much centered on their religion, and they have partnered in many communities like Maryland, Wisconsin, Michigan, key voter states, with the conservatives against what they consider to be a pro-LGBTQ curriculum that's going into schools, and that matters within the Muslim community. You are seeing Muslims standing next to Southern Baptists in a lot of these communities at their school board meetings saying we want to keep this agenda out of our schools.
So you think that this isn't an issue with the Middle East per se?
I think this is 100% because they are Americans now, and I think that they are trying to keep their system as close to what they came to America for, which was those traditional values.
And there's another place that I know we're going to get to later, Minnesota, where there's a lot of Muslim immigrants as well, where this issue is taking hold. But my answer to this one is, Biden's losing votes to Muslims. I mean, what exactly is he supposed to do at this point? I mean, he's between a rock and a hard place right now. He's backing Israel, of course, are one of our biggest allies. The Muslim population obviously pushing back against that. And I think you're starting to see him take a little bit of a step back, or at least his administration, as I said, with Blinken's comments this morning. But, you know, AOC and company have not exactly been backing him on this issue, and that's a big problem. We've heard from the extreme side of the Republican Party with what happened with Congress. Now you're hearing from it on the Democratic side, and that's not working well for the president at the moment.
Let's not also forget, a lot of the people who did migrate to America, Muslims, wanted to get away from the threat of terrorism, the threat of fear. And right now they look at the Republican Party as having a better agenda of protecting their family than where they came from. They escaped this type of place, so now they're coming here, and I think Republicans are doing a better job.
I used to chair the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. I've seen my share of polls and data. Let's disabuse ourselves of the notion that there's a national election for president in 2024. It's 7 battleground states. To your point, Minnesota matters, Michigan matters. But we need to be focused not on what a national poll tells us, but where are those voters in those 7 battleground states? In Pennsylvania, in North Carolina, in Georgia,
and here's the thing.
In Wisconsin, in Nevada.
To take your state, Michigan has 242,000 Muslims in it. 154,000 is all that Biden won by in 2024. He is going to have to pay attention. But there is a 2-to-1 ratio in the United States of the Jewish population to the Muslim population. So there is definitely a balance that he's going to have to do here. But those key states have large Muslim populations.
But to your point, you cannot effectuate a foreign policy and a national security policy based on voter turnout in those states. You've got to stay with what counts.
Thank you for watching.
Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.